Hey guys, Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys. Back with another from Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman episode review for you guys as we are back. Um Man, this week has been a week of pain and toothness. I recently got a crown. Right now I got my temporary crown in my mouth. And I have to wait a few more weeks till I get my permanent crown. But other than that, I'm good enough to do reviews and stuff like that. And then with the fact that I don't have to go back till I think June, there may be a case where you won't get your come from Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman review in 2 weeks, but we'll see. Anyways. This episode was nice, short, sweet, and just frankly adorable. And everything, and mostly just because we see Miwi as kind of now Beryl's adoptive daughter. And this episode was kind of structured around what does Beryl think would be good for Miwi, like, because in this episode they end up going to the Magic Academy, right? Because we know she has a high aptitude for magic. And they get shown the dorms, like as if it's like a college visit, right? You know, if you ever been on a college visit, they show you the classes, they show you the dorms, they show you what the campus looks like and everything. I've been on campus visits. They were definitely fun times, one, especially if you like go out of state, because sometimes these schools will actually fund for your trip and everything to come out, because they're trying to entice you to go to the school, right? And obviously give you their damn money, right? Anyways, you just see it and everything, and you know, Beryl's looking at this and he's seeing how Miwi clearly is like, oh wow, this is really good and everything. You can see on the face like she's actually liking it. Like honestly, you know, I will say at the end of the episode is adorable and cute and everything that she wanted to stay with him. But I do think I'm like, I don't know about that, because it's like it seemed like they were offering some pretty dang good stuff being involved in the in the dorms and everything, right? So yeah, but they basically go. We also do find out like one of his students will actually be like one of her teachers, which was dope, and everything. And basically it's kind of like, okay, well, you know, you go handle your own thing, you know, you just make your decision, let us know what your decision is going to be, and then we'll go on from there, right? And I love how you have kind of like Beryl internally, just like he's just like, you know, I don't know what, you know, she wants to do. Like by then, like early on the episode after it, he was thinking like, you know, maybe it's probably best that we just stays with me and everything, so then she could, you know, be okay and everything, and I could take care of her, because you know, maybe she might struggle to adjust to girls her age and everything, or other classmates, and what if she gets made fun of, mocked at and stuff like that if she's not good enough, right? um you know, Beryl was having all those trepidations, like probably a parent would have any trepidations of like when they let their kid go off to school, and everything's like, are they going to adjust? Are they going to make friends? Yada yada yada. And Beryl does get some good advice from some of his students, saying like, hey, you know, it's okay. You know, I was in the dorm system when I was training and everything, and it was actually a really fun experience for me. And you know, I think it would actually be really good for her to do that. And I love how he got that advice, and he's like, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe it actually is better. It is better for her own individual growth to be among people of her age and make new friends. And she doesn't have to be stuck with an old dude like me, right? Even though he's kind of like middle aged, right? You know, it's funny how people call him old man. And then you get the situation to where it looks like he's gonna say like, hey, you know, I want you to. I think it's best in your best interest to go to the dorms, right? And then they hear this like noise, and then he moves this dresser, and it's basically I guess you can say a rat's, right? Now, Miwi at first was like, hey, it's okay, like, it's not a big deal. And Beryl's like, are you crazy? It is a big deal, because you could get sick. You could get sick if you get bit by one of these things, right? No, we got to take care of this. So you have this funny, like, moment in the episode where Beryl is going after these mice or these rats and trying to get them out. which is hilarious because that's realistically the only action you get in this episode. So if you're not a slice of life individual, then this was definitely not your episode to watch, right? But I found it absolutely hilarious how this man was doing everything. He was crawling under tables and everything trying to get it. He was struggling to get it. And eventually Miwi helps him out getting the last rat. And it's funny how she's like, you know what? I think it's maybe, she's like, are you okay and everything? And he's like, oh yeah, thanks for that. But he ends up getting bit, which is funny because it's like, he's like, regardless, right? But basically, Miwi comes to the decision like, hey, old man, I think it's best that I want to stay here with you because, she also helps him cook and everything. And I thought it was, I thought it was basically, adorable because she's like, no, I don't want to go to the dorms. I want to stay here with you so I can learn and everything. And plus you're gonna need help taking care of those rats if they ever come back. So yeah, and you just see how Beryl, he is happy that she is staying. And I enjoyed this episode. It was really dope, really heartwarming because it's like we truly now understands like, no, this guy, he actually is looking out for me. He actually does care about me. He wants my best interest. So, let me do something for him. And plus, she feels like she can learn a lot from him and everything. So, I enjoy this, man. I enjoy this because it's like, this is his adoptive daughter. And, he recognizes that. And it's kind of like he's trying to understand how to do it and everything. So, cool. It's definitely dope because whenever he ends up hooking up with one of these girls, or he just finds another girl that we wouldn't expect he hooks up with, right? And they probably have a kid, hey, he's got some things of how to deal with the teenage, type of drama stuff. So, regardless, it was another great episode. I know if you're not a big fan of this show, you may not like the slice of life elements, but that's the one thing I do like. I like the slice of life elements. And I don't remember if I brought this up before, but the fact like they're doing the show and the way it's going, like when I first looked at the poster back in what I will watch for Spring of Anime 2024, I legitimately thought like this was going to be a harem, anime and stuff like that. With this really strong swordsman. And yes, it has those elements of like all these girls who he's taught over his early years in life, kind of falling for this guy, kind of simping for this dude and wanting to basically be with this guy. Yes, there is that component of a harem in there, right? But then you get moments like this where it's like, you know what? It's actually not a harem. It's a solid like fantasy, show that is very down to earth, very adorable, very sweet when it has its moments, and you do get your funny moments, even though you do have that harem component in there. And realistically, even though we have that harem component, it's only like focused around like, it's not like, it's only really focused around like the three main girls, which is Alusha, Serena, and I guess Lucy to an extent. While the other students, they obviously make a mention of him and that they taught him and everything, but it's like we don't see like, oh, they actually like are in love with him compared to like Serena and Alusha. Lucy, I don't know if she has feelings for Beryl. I don't know. She never trained with Beryl and everything, but I think she has more of a common respect for Beryl, especially after the fight. I don't see any romance going on there, but realistically, you're looking at the girls who've been simping for him. It's really only been Serena and Alusha, and compared to the other girls, they just like, oh, hey, master, how you doing? And stuff like that. So it's not like every girl we've come across, in this series so far has had a massive crush on him outside of Serena and Alusha. But that's another thing that's pretty damn good for the fact like, you think this is a harem anime, but it's really not. It's actually a solid fantasy isekai about this guy who's really good at, swordsmanship, basically in a weird way giving back to the people that he's trained before. Yes, some of his students, yes, they're in love with him, right? But things like this situation with Miwi here and this like few episode arc we got regarding this situation, right? It's him looking out for somebody and doing the right thing for somebody, and that somebody realizes like, no, you really do care about me, so I want to help you out and everything. So Great stuff, great stuff. I'm really liking this sword. I'm really liking the show. Very underrated show, if I do say so myself. But anyways, I'm gonna go for guys. Catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or your night. I'm watching this video. Till then, guys, peace.